Wheel-it has gone, and the deal it is done. It's back to Ballydugan for lots more of fun. You're the guy at pottery at Ballydugan. This is Sean O'Dowd of Ballydugan Pottery, outside Banbridge, and we've just seen you make a pot, which is lovely.
Yeah.
And the thing is an ancient art. It's an ancient it's science in there as well, for goodness sake. But the house that you chose to establish this in, what, 30 years ago?
30 years ago.
30 years ago. It's an old country farmhouse.
Yeah.
What's the origin of the house? What's the history?
It's a Huguenot homestead. It's not a... Lots of people come to it and say, oh, what a beautiful Irish cottage.
It's not.
But it's not. It's really a kind of plantation house.
Wow.
The Huguenots came to Ireland, not in huge numbers, but they were tradespeople. And with them they brought the linen trade. And they built this house in 1785, and it's one of 6 of that style of house left in Northern Ireland.
And that style, I think we should try, Andrew, and let people see a little bit of it. I will hold this very steady, and Andrew will show the folk the Ballydugan brochure on the inside. Can you see that, Andrew?
Yeah, it's a stone house with a thatched roof, and it has a Georgian front to it. It would be kind of a middle-class merchant house, is what it would be. It's a step above an Irish cottage, but not a step below the big house.
Yeah, and of course you have history, you have heritage, craftsmanship, shopping, great food, glorious surroundings. The perfect day out, Ballydugan style.
Day, yeah.
Isn't it amazing how well I thought that up? It's written on the back of this. I can read it from here. Yeah. And also I can tell you, if you pull out again, a bed for the night. What's that about?
A bed for the night. Well, during our creating the whole package, we discovered that there was money coming into Ireland from Europe.
Yes.
It was leader money. It was just after the Troubles had finished, and there was this money coming into Ireland from Europe to help small businesses and rural communities in the border regions to develop. And Ballydugan became a flagship project for that.
Yes.
And we were one of the few places that got leader money 3 times.
Wow.
And we developed these 5 self-catering cottages. So people can come and stay. And our cottages are made out of the outbuildings, what was originally the farm belonging to the house. So we have 5 4-star cottages, which we've won British Airways Tourism Awards for, Northern Ireland Tourist Board Awards, and we always clean up on our local tourism awards.
I suppose my mind is thinking, because of the quality and the excellence, my mind is going towards mega expensive. What would it cost a man and a woman to come to you for a night?
Well, we do like a 2-night stay, which would be about £170
each.
No, for the little cottage. Yes, we have some little cottages that are only.
Are you hearing this?
Are only just sleeping 2 people.
2 people in the cottage, 170 quid. All year round, or is there?
All year round, yeah.
That's huge, Sean. That's really very, very good, Sean. I tell you.
We try and encourage them to come to Northern Ireland and see a bit of the north that they probably haven't seen before.
Yes.
The piece against the Loch Shore.
Yes.
Which wouldn't be known for its tourism.
No.
But it's a convenient place to be. It's a kind of a definite place to be if you want to travel around Northern Ireland. Sure, only within 2 hours of any part of it.
Of course. But the joy of the peacefulness, you could spend a morning at your ease around Ballydugan. Then you go off and see Loch Ness over to the visitor centre. You could take it easy there for a while. Then back for your... can we dine there then in the evening?
Yes, or we'll make food for your cottage in the evening.
Yeah.
And you can invite your friends over, or your new friends that you've just discovered.
Yes.
Because a lot of our people staying with us would be doing the whole finding their relatives.
Ah, yes, of course. And then that would be it. That's the first night. Then the next morning again, you'd have a nice breakfast at Ballydugan, listen to the bird song in the garden, identify the species of birds that are flying in and by, avoiding the mosquitoes that might be heading south from Loch Ness. No, I'm only joking about that. But and then of course you could go off and say, well, the Mourns are just down the road from Newry, so let's do that, and then back for the second evening. It's a lovely little package, It is
It is.
indeed.
It's a very convenient place to be, especially when you're coming from airports. And so
Yeah,
forth.
of course, of course. So the life and times there motivates you, drives you on. It's the fulfillment of a dream, and it's still developing, I suppose. Have you seen any downturn as a consequence of what we all hear about now? That the recession.
Well, I did see a downturn in my wholesale market in the south of Ireland.
Yes.
Because it was particularly hit by the recession. And giftware is always one of the first indicators of a recession.
Yeah.
We see it probably about 6 months to a year before it starts to sink down through, because giftware is one of the few things that you can do without. You know, you can.
Of course you can.
You can make the present smaller, or you can do without the present, or you can just pretend that you don't remember.
Yeah.
So
That's my story on birthdays. It's terrible.
in that way, yes, we saw a bit. But at that time, we were further developing our restaurant, so it kind of took the slack of other pieces of the business that weren't doing as well. I often say that the business isn't one business, but like 4 small micro businesses that prop one another up.
You see, I easily associate that word with Ballydugan and with you, micro, because you don't seem to me the kind of person who needs to make huge fortunes.
No.
I don't think that's what drives you.
I never started it to make a fortune.
Yeah.
I started it to make pots.
Yeah.
And it subsequently, I have made a little money out of it.
Yes, of course.
But it hasn't been ever a driving force.
No, and you've been investing money back in at the same time.
It's
you know.
always been put back into the business. Yeah.
You see, I'm looking at this pot, for example, and this is a semi-glaze on the outside, and this is a total glaze here, is it?
Yes.
Now
I'm using
two different. How did you do this?
Well, I'm using.
Is that superimposed?
I'm painting that pattern on.
Yes.
With a gloss glaze on top of a semi-matte.
So there's no substance to that other than the glaze at this point.
Yes.
And it's a coloured glaze.
And it's a coloured glaze. It's basically staining the glaze underneath.
Yeah. And it's a higher grade glaze than the foundation glaze.
Well, it wouldn't be higher grade. What it would be really is...
It's smoother than that.
A smoother finish.
Yeah, that's what I mean by higher grade.
Yeah.
I wasn't talking qualitatively there.
Yeah.
But that's the shine that comes on it.
Yeah.
And it's so wonderful. That's good.
Yeah.
Good. And you made that. And this here is a milk jug.
Yes.
Kind of thing that we have here. Isn't that lovely? That's very country-esque.
Yeah.
It's the way. And again, the same process.
It's again the same process, only this time I'm using a shiny tin glaze.
You are on the overall.
On the overall.
Yeah.
I'm using tin oxide in the mixture.
And would that be for reasons of this being used for food?
No.
No.
Just some people prefer a white background. In fact,
yes.
90% of ceramics generally has a white background. It's only in recent years that we've started to see these much darker colours coming in. But traditionally, it would have been a tin background and glaze.
Have you a notion of where you're going to take it next, or will you take it anywhere? Are you content with where you've arrived?
I've never really had a major plan in life. I never started off with a plan.
Why not? Because you're a remarkable man. You've got staff, you've got a business, and this would suggest to me someone who was very, very focused, very ordered, and was on course to achieve. But you're saying no.
No, I think I let it move as I feel it needs to move, rather than try and force it in a direction that maybe would destroy it. I have to remember that it's a very niche market, and that niche market needs to be developed sensitively rather than throwing the baby out with the bathwater.
Yes, of course, of course,
you know?
of course, of course.
And I don't see the next change yet, but when it comes, I'll see it.
Yeah, you're close enough to the product.
And I'm close enough. And it's not like a huge, big ship. It can be moved quite quickly.
Yes, of course.
It's not. That's the problem of big business.
Yeah.
Once they start going wrong, there's almost no way of stopping it.
Yeah. You enjoy walking?
I do.
In the hills?
I'm a walker as well.
Yeah, in the hills?
In the hills.
Dare I suggest it's a source of some inspiration?
Yes. Well, you get inspiration everywhere, but that's my break from telling people what to do and having to deal with people.
Do you not like dealing with people?
I enjoy it at the time, but I think your brain needs switch off
Yeah.
and have some me time.
Yeah.
Where it's not about anybody else's issues
Yeah,
or anybody
of
else
course.
other than
You see, I
just
wasn't deliberately
yourself.
putting you in the frame for criticism there. In the tone of my voice, do you not like people? That was more saying, I don't like people. I'm good on my own. And
Yeah.
I'm not even sociable enough to join a golf club. So I love my own space. I love my own time. I love where I am. I love walking in the hills. I love all of that. And people say, what are you? I'm a fledgling Buddhist, if you like. I like the purity of that. Getting into the hills, walking by the ocean, that kind of thing is hugely important. We don't do half enough of that, you know.
Yeah, I like people. I can deal with people quite well, and I'm quite sociable. But we all need time on our own.
Yeah, yeah.
We all
yeah.
need time even to kind of work out what that person was really saying to us when they were talking to us.
And that one mustn't take it in the way we perceive it to have been meant.
Yeah.
And that takes you back. That's problem solving within interpersonal relationships. But how many people have you got on staff?
19. Yeah, so quite a number to deal with.
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
In salary. Every month.
Yes.
Do you lose sleep over it?
I don't. I've never worried about money in my life.
Why?
Because I don't think that money should be of any consequence other than for spending.
Yeah.
I don't see it as any use
Yeah.
other than it allows you to do things.
Yeah.
And it gives you huge freedom. I appreciate the freedom that I have.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm just back from the Caribbean.
Wow.
And then I'm heading off to London now for a few days. And then I'm heading off to Iceland with my good friend Veronica McCann.
Oh, dear Veronica. She told me here she was going to Iceland.
So, you know
in
what I mean?
studio.
I just spend my time doing things that I enjoy with it.
But you're in blessed company with Veronica.
I am.
She's a lovely woman. She really is. And you must give her our regards when she
will, of
comes
course.
here, when you see her again. Your spirituality attracts me and makes me interested more in you because I'm drawn to Africa. You've been involved with Africa. You're still going. How would you define? I'm emboldened to ask this because of your mentioning of Africa and your gifting of the wheel to the bishop. How would you define God in your life?
He's always been there. That would be the bit that
You're a traditional Ulster Christian, are you?
I am.
Which foot do you kick with, they would say to you? Because, that's the way we are here. We want to put labels on people.
And people like that label because it's handy.
Yeah, what's your background?
Well, with a name like Sean Francis O'Dowd,
you can have to be
come from the Catholic community.
Well, as a matter of fact, with a name like Francis, you could almost be Pope. I refer to him as Francis the Good, and Francis the Good.
Yes, I never thought I'd see Pope Francis, but there you are.
I mean, I do hope it hasn't changed you.
No, it hasn't. I'm still very humble.
But then, of course, you mustn't do too much humility because it's my view that humility deprives an awful lot of people of inspirational opportunity. If you tell them what excellence is, then you can encourage them along. But it's that chill. You have that chill with life. That's pretty good. And if you could sell that in a package in Ballydugan, you would even do better. Not that you want to.
Wouldn't that be great if I could get everyone to calm down and not be so worried about a cappuccino or a latte?
Do they get worried about these things?
I think people do. I think they get themselves all worked up about
I've been here 20 minutes.
Yes, it don't really matter in the great scheme of things.
Actually. I had a funny experience once at the finest little pizza restaurant in the land, La Vache Roma in Warrenpoint. They're lovely, lovely people. And I went there and had a pizza once. And we'd ordered a sweet, you see, and we would again. I don't shoot this. I don't sweat the small stuff. But we'd been waiting for about 20 minutes for the sweet to come along, and I said again. So the third time it hadn't come, I said, "Look," I said, "Where is it?" He said, "Don't you talk to me like that." And I wasn't talking to him like anything. I was simply saying, "Please tell me where it is. I would like to know." It was a kind of an intelligent conversation I sought to have. But this fellow had, God love him, and we made up later and we shook hands and all the rest of it. But he formed the opinion that I was being in some way judgmental of his inadequacies, which were quite substantial, by the way. But I wasn't making a point of it because this was the whole thing. Where are you going in Iceland?
We're going to walk. We're taking 2 weeks to go walking, 9 of us.
Yes.
There's 9 of us heading off together. And I'm not quite sure about the trip. I'm not a great organizer. I quite like...
You could have fooled me.
I quite
3
like...
businesses going.
I quite like the idea that somebody's looking after that whole organisational side of it, so that I'm left to enjoy the whole trip.
You simple, you're a cad. That's dreadful to be doing that on your friends. But it's. Have you been to Iceland before?
I haven't.
I haven't, but I'm fascinated by the place, and I want to go there and see what it. Are you doing it for some particular charitable reason or
no,
not?
we're not.
Just for yourself.
We're just
well, you're the
heading
greatest
off.
charity of all, because if you're good to yourself and grow within yourself, then you can be superb for other people, which is great, you know.
Yeah, we're all looking forward to it. We're all friends from the Binion Walkers.
Are they?
So therefore,
the little Binions.
Then we're heading off as a small micro group of the Binions.
You'd be a micro group, but a powerful group no less. Any group with Veronica McCann involved would be a driving force.
Well, she'll take no nonsense,
No,
that's
she
sure.
doesn't. She's a great girl. But she's also very kind. 3 years ago, 4 years ago, she'll give me a lend of her book on Machu Picchu in South America, and I didn't get it back to her. And I hid it so well, because I cared in case it was damaged. I put it out of the way. And eventually, and every time I said, look, I have it. She was always awfully good. So 4 years later, in this studio, it was presented to her again. And it was an occasion of good, you know, it was fine. Well, you look and make sure you greet my daughter, my firstborn, Anne-Marie McCartan, who's a fabulous fan of yours. Yes. She just loves Ballydugan. And I have to almost tie her hands behind her back and say, you must not buy me anything anymore, anywhere, because she's just so very, very good. But we know of you from a long time ago, and our society, our lives are enhanced by the presence of you, Sean O'Dowd, and Ballydugan Pottery.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in. We're going to play you some music now. Go well. Take care.
Thank you.
God bless you. Go well.